For nearly 30 years, Somalia has been at war.
They are fighting because of land. Somalia, we are one tribe and one religion.
AMISOM, now in its 11th year, has made significant strides amidst challenges in this quest to bring lasting peace in the Horn of Africa. We embedded with the UPDF troops serving under AMISOM to tell their story of pacifying Somalia from the capital Mogadishu to the remote regions of Lower Shebele, and as the troops prepare to hand over security roles to the Somali National Army, we look at readiness of the national forces to take on the mantle and whether Somalia is ready for life without AMISOM. This is a story of pacifying Somalia. October 14, 2017, the deadliest ever terror attack on Africa engulfs Somalia, deeper in loss, fear and hopelessness. More than 600 people are brutally killed and 312 left injured, while property destroyed to dust.
When the truck arrived at the busy intersection known locally as K5, there was a traffic jam.
A truck bomb near a fuel tanker blows off in a strategically dense spot 1 kilometer from Medina Gate. Moments later, another explodes. The main target, the heavily guarded Aden Ad International Airport compound through the Medina Gate, an access route to United Nations and other key establishments. Aden Mos Hassan is a survivor of the heinous act. A traditional elder looking forward to a fruitful day of mediations, Hassan could not have predicted any different. Caught in traffic, seated on a bajaj at a busy intersection, Hassan, as many others, was innocently in the right place at the wrong time.
I managed to resolve the conflict and agreed that the accident victim be compensated for the injuries sustained, and I decided to rush back home to attend to other matters. I saw my left leg break just below my knee when the bajaj landed on its side. My right eye was also injured. After I fell on the ground, I could not trace where my driver was. My mouth, ears and nose were full of dust.
Flashbacks of the explosion, people and buildings being torn apart, the smell of burnt bodies, pangs of death regularly come back to him at night. His injuries have not left him the same man.
I was gasping for air and I felt like it was the end of the world. My life has drastically changed. I now use a walking stick to support myself and my income flow is irregular. I can earn today and go home with nothing the following day.
The Al-Shabaab terrorist group has its prints written all over this attack despite not claiming it. The group is responsible for hundreds of losses in the Horn of Africa. However, the promising nation's troubles run deep. The Somali civil war has evolved over the years. In 1969, Sayed Barre led a military junta in a coup d'etat to take over power from Abdurrashid Ali Shimaki. He took on a socialist approach of governance, attracting support from socialist states like Russia and Egypt. Under his rule, clanism was discouraged while unity emphasized. However, the government's inner circle was made up mainly of members from his clan, Ogaden, and that of his mother, an ingredient for the now existing clan disparities. Facing defeat of the Ogaden War and its effects on Somalis, coupled with famine, Barre's popularity grew deep. In 1991, Barre was ousted by clan-based armed rebel groups who competition of warlords was on the onset in now a collapsed state. The mark of Barre's rule had already set into motion the years to come of a civil war. In 1992 till 1995, international efforts under UNISOM I, Unified Task Force, UNISOM II came into play to fight the United Somali Congress, a major rebel group at the time, and save Somalia's burning out candle. But an African solution was needed for the African problem. While a transitional national government was established in 2000, and in 2004 a transitional federal government, fighting that erupted in the south between 2005 and 2007 was quelled by Ethiopian troops who seized the region from the Islamic Coats Union that would later splinter into more radical groups like the Al-Shabaab. January 2007, the Peace and Security Council of the African Union, in the spirit of brotherhood, created the African Union Mission in Somalia, mandated to support government structures, implement a national security plan, train the Somali security forces, and assist in creating a secure environment for delivery of humanitarian aid. It's coming to 11 years now, and the AMISOM force, composed of troops from Uganda, Kenya, Burundi, Djibouti and Ethiopia, has been at the forefront in pacifying Somalia.
Somalis feel that we can't really pay them because we have given them our own blood, and to them that is very, very important.
The Lion of Mogadishu, as nicknamed by the Somalis, Brigadier General Paul Lokech in December last year completed his one-year tour of duty, a second after 2011-2012, a period key in the battle for Mogadishu. Ugandan troops, the first on ground in the mission to protect the transitional federal government from the Al-Shabaab insurgents, had from the start taken on a defensive approach, but a shift had to be made. With calls to have the transitional federal government set in motion a democratic process through elections, and the Al-Shabaab taking credit for the Kampala 2010 twin bombings in retaliation to the UPDF presence in Somalia, the rules of engagement changed. The Al-Shabaab had built a colony in Mogadishu. Flushing them out presented an intense urban warfare.
Al-Shabaab had entrenched themselves so much in the city. So much in the city that they're occupying every household, they're occupying every rooftop. They had sniper guns on rooftops of buildings. You could not sit in that state house in Mogadishu. You can't, because you'll be shot at. So every time people are in the bunkers, they're down, including the president. The president came and asked me, take me away from here. And it was so touching when the president came to me and said, Paul, take me away from here.
The Lion of Mogadishu, together with his UPDF officers, conquered the last point of the insurgents in the area of Bakara Market. To date, many areas which were once held by the rebels have been liberated by the force. Mogadishu town, once a hotbed of terror, is now seemingly bustling with activity. Airlines Kenya and Qatar are in advanced stages of opening up routes in Somalia, while Ethiopia Airlines is a present member in these skies. This is an indication that Somalia is opening up for business locally and internationally. At this modern farm in central Mogadishu, Ahmed Hassan Ali, who started his business in 2014, is now reaping big and seeking to expand further away.
We have achieved some success, and we aspire to reach the rest of the country. We want to satisfy the demand in other regions and eventually export to neighboring countries.
This optimism is magnified by the restored security in most parts of Somalia. The 5 sectors of AMISOM under the command of different force-contributing nations maintain a presence in main population centers. These secure key supply routes, including areas recovered from Al-Shabaab and those with remnants of the radical group. We embedded with the UPDF in Market district, a former Al-Shabaab stronghold, where they have established 3 forward operating bases. And a journey that takes an hour in air can take you a week by road if you survive the IED-infested roads. These foot soldiers degrade the Al-Shabaab terrorists from their taproots, and this is done by engaging communities in activities aimed at uniting them.
Yeah, UPDF, they're helping people here and giving some supplies.
They're giving them supplies?
Yes.
How often do they give them supplies?
Many people, there is many people who are orphans, who are helping, who they help UPDF. Yes.
How many times in a week do they bring these supplies?
And it is their facilitation. If they get the money, they help. But sometimes, it's not enough. It's not enough.
These are our brothers and sisters. We need to share whatever territory we have so that we can build our relationship with them.
At Kismayo Hospital, AMISOM officers are bringing smiles on Somalis' faces. Corrective surgeries for patients with cleft lips are offered at no cost during a medical camp. In partnership with the international cleft lip charity Smile Train and Washington-based company Bancroft Global Development, 100 patients will no longer be held back by this condition.
These cleft lips are a problem because the child cannot play with other children, he cannot go to school, he's not comfortable with neighbors, and when he grows up, he can't marry or get married. And after that, he can't even work because some people cannot employ him. So when we do one cleft lip, we solve a problem for the family of the child. He can get employment, so his family he's going to make will also exist and also get supported.
The free surgery is a blessing that comes once in a while given the high cost of treatment and lack of specialists capable of handling the disorder in Somalia.
Cleft palate and lip entails 2 or 3 operations. It includes also a speech therapist, psychologist, and dentist, odontologist to correct the deformed teeth. So you find that with wires, so you find that it adds up to something like $1,000.
I heard from a friend that AMISOM Hospital was conducting the operations. He told me that opportunity knocks only once and that I had to take it seriously. So I shared the news with my parents. They agreed and asked my uncle to escort me to the AMISOM Hospital. He signed the consent forms for the surgery and here I am, waiting to be operated.
I brought him from Bulahaji town, 90 kilometers from Kismayo, and thanks to God, his operation was successful, and I hope he'll get even better. There is noticeable change because initially the lip was open, but it has been corrected. I expect a lot more improvement, but as of now, he is healthy and will get better.
The first free medical camp was conducted in 2016 at AMISOM Level 2 Hospital in Mogadishu, where more than 100 people benefited from the corrective surgeries. In March last year, a similar exercise was held at Baidoa Regional Hospital in Southwest State and over 40 patients were operated on.
The soldiers of the UPDF Sector 1 AMISOM are just doing a marvelous job. I was particularly impressed on how CIMIC can defeat more quickly Al-Shabaab than the bullets that we fire against Al-Shabaab. This so-called cleft lips operation, surgery, it's got so much impact on the civilians that they become out of sympathy, out of solidarity, out of recognition of the usefulness and importance of AMISOM, they become our natural allies on the ground.
As they go about their activities, they are also cognizant of the existing clan disparities. Somalia has close to 5 major clans, and these have been at loggerheads for years. From Sayed Barre's regime, inter-clan tension had started to build up. With his fall came the collapse of government institutions, which gap was then filled by clan-based armed rebel groups fighting for power and resources.
They are fighting because of land. You know, they are Somalia. We have one tribe. We are one tribe and one religion.
The bickering among clans fits perfectly in the Al-Shabaab's plan.
But that time it was bad. But this time is good because of this battle group commander of UPDF AMISOM. And he talked to us and that clan, and now we are fine. We are good. We are brothers.
Operation Kila Kitu tunasaidia AMISOM, UPDF ya Uganda. Mimi nasema asante sana.
But the force is not here to stay. In 2017, the UN Security Council directed for a phased drawdown of AMISOM troops by 2020 with the aim of handing over security roles to the Somali National Army. In compliance with this resolution, 1,000 troops have been sent home, while another 1,000 are expected to be pulled out this February.
We all agreed that we need to continue to move together. We need to ensure that Somali troops are generated to take over from us. We need to make sure that Al-Shabaab is further degraded, despite the resilience, as the general said. And most importantly, we need to create space for the government to occupy and be present in much wider areas than it is. Make sure that the checkpoints and the tax collection points by Al-Shabaab are dismantled.
The drawdown, definitely, the drawdown needs to be conditions based. Can't give a clear timeline that come this day we need to be out. We need to have the basics. We must ensure that really the country is peaceful, it is stable, it has key security institutions that can sustain this progress that we've made. Short of that, we risk reversing these very achievements we have made.
The Somali police and military officials are being trained in safety and surveillance, combat, humanitarian and civil military coordination guidelines, among others.
Our interaction with the Minister of Defense and the Chief of Defense Forces is basically to heighten the operational plans for purposes of executing a transition plan, because AMISOM and the SNA are supposed to work together in a comprehensive approach to security of Somalia, and we're looking at how best we can execute these plans, starting with priority areas and also cover the whole country in a new approach in which we shall include stability operations. So our interaction with them is to consolidate those plans.
These are equipped to dismantle the enemy who is using IEDs to strike.
We should not take the issue of IEDs lightly. This is a threat that is here to live. This is a threat that is being effectively utilized by the enemy. And so we must go after it and defeat it. And once we defeat it, they will run out of ideas, and for the time being, before they even develop other new ones, we'll have defeated them.
AMISOM is putting in place force multipliers to sustain the gains achieved. At this meeting in Mogadishu, employing technology to fight the improvised explosive devices is top on the agenda. AMISOM troops have labored to create long-lasting security structures in the midst of unpredictable warfare, and the price that has been paid is unbearable.
And I don't think anybody knows the price of war better than a soldier, because really it's always us in the midst of it.
Killed in action, these are the brave sons and daughters of the African soil, the martyrs of peace.
It is grave to the extent that, of course, we have lost some lives. But when you look at the bigger picture of having a free and peaceful Mother Africa, a lot has been achieved. It is our strong belief that liberation of Africa will not be complete until we ensure that every inch of the African soil is stable, ensure that there is peace, and that all our people, all our African people are able to engage into some production in order to better their lives. So this is our solid thinking. This is the Pan-Africanist ideal that is part of that is ingrained within the DNA of UPDF.
Nevertheless, strong as they started the journey 11 years ago, on high alert, they proceed.
A lot has been done, a lot more remains, and I can only say that the resilience of the enemy is matched by the resilience of the troops in AMISOM, or of all the TCCs. Uganda happens to be one of them, and we are proud to contribute to the peace and security of Somalia.
The effects of war are grave. They make a significant mark on a state while mounting graves for many homes. From the sky, you can see a country that has bled, and on the ground, effects of terror and poverty are clear-cut. The crisis in Somalia is real on the lives of many locals here.
If we do things right, really the chances for Somalia are now much better than at any other time.
maalin walba ciidamada waddanka haba maalin walba ayaa